family. I didn't see you there. Welcome to another edition of Crenshaw Corner. I am Sanchez Crenshaw, and always I am joined by my best friend.
No, wait, player. I thought I had time because you usually say more than that. What was that? Oh, you're not feeling it this morning. Okay.
It's never enough for you. So
okay.
When I go into platitudes, then you have an attitude about it because you don't like what I say.
Wait.
When I keep it short and sweet, you don't like what I say. I mean, so
but you said
there's no wins.
You said platitude, attitude. Come on, somebody, you better rap. But anyway, listen.
Actually, I didn't say anything about attitude.
What did you say?
Actually, no, I did say you get an attitude. Yeah,
see, I listen. You say I don't listen to you, but you see how hard I listen so much that you didn't even remember what you said, which goes to show that sometimes when I tell you said something, you did say it. When you tell me you didn't.
We are not
but anyway,
through the intro.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. What is going on, family? What is going on? What is going on? I am Angela Crenshaw.
That's my wife, family.
Yes. Before we get into the house cleaning, I guess I'm the one to have to apologize that we missed Friday due to I had migraines the last 5 days?
Last 5 days.
Last 5 days. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but I had been having massive migraines, and I apologize that we have missed our day. But guess what? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, people. Happy Sunday.
So happy whatever day you're listening to this, whether it be whatever day.
Yeah.
So good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Happy Thursday. Happy Tuesday.
Because we don't know where you're listening.
Happy June 13th. I mean, whatever.
Did you say June 13th, baby?
Whatever day you decide to listen to this, we just thank you.
Thank you.
Which actually, that kind of segues into the next thing.
Uh-oh.
So we thank you for our new listeners. We thank you for being a part of our journey.
Yes.
However you're listening to us, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's on Podbean, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's on Google Play Music, whether it's on our website, www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Come on now, you can hear us.
We thank you for being a part of what we're doing. For our returning listeners, we definitely thank you
Come
guys
on, y'all. Returners.
For being a part of this journey, for uplifting us, for keeping us honest.
Yes.
And we thank you so much, guys. And we consider ourselves an interactive podcast.
We are.
And what that means is that we are on the socials. We're on Twitter.
The socials.
We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, all under Crenshaw Corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have an email address of thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. We love your feedback. And yeah, so babe.
Well, first of all,
What's up?
The Crenshaw Corner. Mine never sound like yours.
Because you don't pronunciate your the like I do.
I know. I want to learn how to do it like you do.
You gotta hit hard on that T.
No.
You gotta start with that
Never
T.
mind.
You gotta hit hard on it.
First of all, you sound like somber today. You don't sound like yourself. You all right over here?
No, I'm good. I haven't had a lot of sleep, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little tired.
Don't do this. Let's talk about what we're gonna talk about. Okay.
No, well, you asked.
No, I did that. I just said
you opened the door.
I said you sound a little somber.
You opened the door.
And so little like.
I'm coming to myself.
You coming to yourself? Because you sound like yourself. You want to start over?
No, I'm good. But you opened the door, so let's go ahead and walk through that door.
I didn't open the door. I just said, baby, this is what you sound like. Because we could just go on to what we talking about.
Yeah, let's before we do though.
What was that? Gone.
I'm pretty sure by now the family's interested. I'm pretty sure we got them interested.
No, I don't think they are. So listen.
I feel like, hold on. Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
I don't think they're interested. I don't think they're interested.
I feel like they are. So family, let me kind of. So as my beautiful best friend, wife, kind of explained, we are truly sorry. I know I put out information saying that the Crenshaw Corner episode would not be available Friday, but it'd be available Saturday, and then unfortunately Saturday came. We were not able to release the episode. Strictly because my wife has truly not been feeling well for the last few days. And I've been kind of doing everything I can to make sure she's okay.
You have.
Running back and forth to the store, cooking, cleaning, trying to do everything, lessen what she has to do.
Listen, before we... See, now you open the door for that. No, seriously, all jokes aside, thank you so much. I want to publicly thank you. I never want to take you for granted. And I think these last days, I mean, you're an incredible husband anyway. I heard.
I don't like that phrase.
So I heard.
No, not that.
That's what people.
No, not that. I'm cool with being told I'm a wonderful husband. It's just that phrase, the last days. I don't really like the way that sounds.
And so these last.
Strike that from the record. I don't like the way
these
that
last
sounds.
couple of days.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
These last couple of days.
So ominous. I didn't like the way that sounds.
Last couple of days. Oh, you need to know. You need to know right when and how and where.
Nah, when you say last days, like this is apocalypse and like and like the earth about to crack open at any moment now. Nah.
Bruh.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Thank you.
Continue.
But I just want to publicly say thank you. Seriously, I think that there was no need that you did not cater to me. And the crazy part about Sanchez is sometimes things I don't even think I need, he already took care of, or he's already on point with it. Whether I be like, no, I'm not hungry, and he'd be like, no, babe, you have to eat, and then he'll bring me my food, and then he'd be like, okay, he like go back, get me some water, come back, the food is gone. He'd be like, well, okay, well, somebody was hungry. So I just want to just publicly say thank you, that I love you, that is that I never want to take you for granted, that you just do that because you have to do it, but I thank you that you do it because you want to do it for me. So thank you. I love you.
Oh, that was sweet. It's no problem, babe.
Thank you.
But we're going to continue down this trend, though.
No, because I feel like you're trying to go someplace else with this.
No, I'm just saying. So, because going back, you asked.
You should have. Well, first of all, that was heartfelt. You didn't even take it in. You didn't even
I took it in.
I didn't even hear you go, oh, babe. I mean, like, I didn't hear.
Because I'm a grown man. I did. I said.
I didn't. Because normally people take it in, they sigh.
No, I said, oh, babe, that was sweet. That's actually what I said.
That sounded so. I don't know.
Because I'm a grown man.
Okay.
So,
I guess I can't dictate how your response is going to be.
Exactly. Are you just learning that?
But I felt it was heartfelt. Okay. I'm sorry, family. Y'all go ahead.
Okay. So you haven't learned that part yet, that your responsibility is to simply put out how you feel or pose the question. You can't dictate my response to your question. And I can't. My response is my responsibility.
Yeah. And I can't kind of.
Matt Rose.
Look at, you know what? I just realized you said that. Come on, Matt.
That is my new best quote.
Matt Rose.
I got two favorite quotes in life. One is,
Mike
we all
Tyson.
have a plan until we get punched in the mouth.
That's your favorite quote.
That will always be my foundational
Mr.
quote.
Mike Tyson.
But then I got a new favorite quote by the wonderful Mr. Matt Rose.
Matt Rose.
Pastor. Campus pastor,
yes,
soon to be senior pastor.
Come on, somebody.
The Dr. Good Reverend Matt Rose. And he said,
did you say the what?
The Dr. Good Reverend.
The Dr. Good Reverend. Come on, somebody.
Matthew A. Rose.
Baby, is there an A?
I don't even know if his middle name begins with an A, but it sounds good. Matthew A. Rose. MD. PhD.
Doctoral.
Esquire.
Yes, doctoral. Will he wear like a thing around his neck? What you call that?
Ascot.
Ascot.
I can see Matt wearing an
I want to wear ascot.
I can see Matt wearing an ascot.
I want to go to the pulpit with an ascot.
With an ascot.
We so off task. I don't even know. I don't even know what happened. Y'all forget the whole thing, y'all.
With the coat, with the patches on this. I don't even remember the name on, but the blazers with the patches
with the
on
suede
the elbow.
Patches on the elbow. Yes. Come on through, Matt.
I can see Dr. Good Reverend Matt Rose wearing that.
If you don't stop saying Dr. Good Reverend.
But he made it.
But anyway.
Fascinating quote. He said that my response is my responsibility.
Yeah.
I love that. But anyway, you're trying to get me off track.
I'm not. We can go for. Let's talk about what we was going to talk about.
Now I want to finish this thought. I want to stay right here for a moment. I want to stay right here. So you asked me, you was like, babe, you don't seem like yourself. You know, you're not really into it this morning. That's somewhat the truth. Very tired. So once again, spend a lot of, and I'm not complaining about that. I would do it again. I love it. Making sure you're okay. It's part of my DNA is what I do.
Thank you, baby.
So running back and forth to the store, cooking, cleaning. I don't think you've touched a dish all week.
Really?
No, I'm not saying that bad. I'm not saying in a negative way.
I don't know, because the way that you okay.
No, I'm just saying, you've made dishes this week. You've made a lot of dishes. But I don't know if you touched the dish to clean it. But I'm cool with that, because that was my choice.
You told me I could lay down and just watch something dumb on TV.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you be like, close your eyes, and then you take the remote and hide it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I should have did that part last night.
Ooh.
Because what happened, family, is that she took the lay down and find something dumb to watch. She took that literally last night. And so we was cool,
I felt a little bit better.
I bet you did. I bet you did. So it was cool. You know, she was in our room. I was in the front room. I stayed away, give her time as much as I could.
What you call it?
The front room.
You see my face?
What?
Is that what y'all call it down here?
That's what we used to call it in the South. The front room.
The living room?
Yeah, it's the front room because it's in the front of the house. That's the front room. What?
We call it the living room.
My group. But you never lived in it though.
You did live in it. You sat in it. You watched TV in it.
Yeah, but you didn't live in it. You stayed in it. It's the front room. So you're wrong. Once again, your thinking process. We
already had this argument with other people about this cereal situation. That's for another day. But it's okay. Okay, baby. The front.
Can I finish my thought?
Go ahead, baby. The front room.
So
it's the front room.
So
y'all.
She was in our bedroom. I was in the front room. Staying out of her way as much as I could. Checking in on her once in a while. I did that to about midnight.
Because you're a good person. Midnight.
I'm tired. I want to lay down. Couch is hurting my back anyway. So I go in the room. I figure, you know what? She been doing this all day. I figured, at some point we shut this down. 12:30 come. She's still watching TV. 1:30 come. She's still watching TV.
Because the episodes kept flowing.
2:30 come. She keep watching TV.
I don't think you should tell people my time frame.
3:00 a.m. She is still watching TV and got the nerve to look at me talking about, babe, am I disturbing you?
Because you kept you was asleep at first, babe, but then you kept moving around. So I was like, oh man, maybe I'm disturbing him.
But yet you never turned off the TV though.
I did. I turned the TV off at 3:30.
At 3:30 a.m.
30 minutes after I asked you. And then you was like, no, babe, I'm okay.
So it took another 30 minutes for you to realize.
See, this is the situation. First of all, he says.
Something's going on.
No, first he says, hey, babe, no, I'm okay. Nothing's bothering me. I'm okay. And he was ruffling the covers and then he went back to sleep. But then out of nowhere, he says to me during his, I guess, sleep in, sleep out. I don't know what you want to call it. He says, hey, babe, no, I'm okay. You all right? I said, I'm fine. He's like, I'm okay, too. Just want to let you know I love you. And by the way, that's not just side of the bed. So I don't know if he was trying to hint to me that he wanted his side of the bed back because that's what the side the TV's on. And because I'm shorter than him, I can't see over him.
Whatever.
He's a bigger guy than me. I can't see over him to see the TV. And I don't like the TV lifted really, really high. So I'm just saying, do you...
Moral of the story, family. If I seem a little off, it's because I've only had a few hours of sleep.
No, you seem off, but you feel... But when you tell your stories, you don't seem off. You seem like... Let's say when you talking junk about me.
I find no fault in anything I've said. Find the lie.
We're going to do this game again?
I find the lie.
This is something else that he does, y'all, that... Like if we're talking about something and it doesn't get really heated, but it gets confrontational. Can we use that word? Confrontational about what we're discussing. Sometimes it has nothing to do with our marriage.
Most of the times it has nothing to do with our marriage.
It has something to do with something so far-fetched or something out there. And here we go. Okay, babe. The bottom line is find the lie.
Yeah.
And if you can't find the lie, then I'm correct. And we can just end this discussion. What?
Makes sense to me. Famous philosopher.
Oh my God!
You know me. You know me.
Baby, who's a famous philosopher?
In philosophy.
Okay,
I love philosophy.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Who's philosophizing?
I love provoking thought.
That's my word. I provoke thought.
I love provoking thought.
You're trying to steal from me. I provoke thought.
Because the beautiful thing is that America has a lot of things.
Okay, go ahead. What America got?
But America's really not known for a lot of great philosophers.
So you one of them?
No, I'm not. I would never say that.
Okay.
I would never say that.
Cool.
But America did birth.
I'm so scared.
One of the greatest minds.
Okay, go ahead, baby.
That the human race.
And who is that?
Has ever seen.
Who's that?
The Honorable Judge Judy Shimer.
Okay, we're not gonna do this. Because then you're going to open the door for something totally different. But anyway, go ahead.
And there's one thing she always says.
Uh-huh.
If it doesn't make sense, it ain't true.
First of all, listen to me.
And I live by that motto. If it does not make sense.
To you, bruh.
It ain't true.
Just because it don't make sense to you.
So that's why I always say, find the lie.
Listen to me.
Because what I say always makes sense.
That's a lie right there. That's the find the lie. That is the lie.
Because I'm always making dollars out here.
No.
Because I always got cents. Like I did that right there.
That was a corny dad joke.
I'm always making dollars because I always got cents.
That's a corny dad joke. Let me explain something to you guys. I'm trying so hard to get where we need to go. But see, every time we keep talking, he keep bringing up some other shenanigans. Let me explain something to you guys. This man.
No, hold on. Right now, anyone listening, family, you should have pen and paper. Because right now, I'm dropping dimes. I am throwing out nuggets
all over the place,
gems all over the place right now.
So they should be panhandlers.
I'm just saying.
Come on to get that gold nugget.
I got you with the. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Right there, you should have that written on a pillow on your bed right now.
Mike Tyson.
I'd have hit you with that. I hit you with the. My response is my responsibility.
Matt Rose.
The great Dr. Reverend Matthew A. Rose, Esquire.
Okay.
And then I'd have hit you with the greatest mind that America produced.
What? Okay,
the Honorable Judge Judith Shineland. If it don't make sense, it ain't true.
Listen.
These is life-changing nuggets.
It's not.
I cannot say anything else for the rest of the podcast because I done said enough right there.
First of all, okay, guys, let me say something to y'all.
I'm woke now.
This man,
I'm woke now,
loves Judge Judy.
Put some respect on her name, the Honorable.
Whatever, Judge Judy. I ain't honoring that. Judge Judy. When I tell you, he listens to her.
Put respect
every single day.
Her voice is soothing.
This joker told me the other night. I go to
sleep listening to Judge
He really
Judy.
do, guys. I'm so sick to my her voice is soothing.
She got a
How
soothing voice.
is Judge Judy's voice soothing? He goes as far as back as he can find her cases.
The first season. She's been on 26 years.
And he has binged her for more times than I can remember.
I watch the same cases because I learned something new.
Yeah, and he does watch some of those cases over and over. Guys,
now
he plays the game on silent with earpods in his ear with his phone as he's listening to Judge Judy.
I do.
Now, if somebody don't pray for me, if you know any scriptures and know the word of prayer,
I'm just saying because
pray for me.
Judge Judy's like a great book.
What?
You know how you go in and you read a book the first time, and it grabs your soul, and so you go back.
I watched some of her shows, and it didn't grab my soul.
We'll discuss that in a moment.
Okay, go ahead. Baby, we got a plan. We're not working this plan, baby.
It grabs, a great book, and it grabs your soul, and then you go back to that book, and then you read it again, and then you glean something new from it. And then you go back to it again, and every time you go back to it, you glean something new. A new subtext has been shown to you.
Wow.
That's Judge Judy. Every time I watch the episodes, I glean something new, something I missed the first time. I'm just saying. Greatest mind America
y'all.
has produced.
Again, when...
Honorable Judge...
Don't say it again.
Judith Shineland.
Hi, Judge Judy. We love you. I'm not going to lie on Sunday, Judge Judy. He loves you.
I do, Judge Judy.
He loves you.
If you would be my grandmother, I would be cool with that. If you would be willing to adopt me as your grandson, I don't even want money. I don't want to be in the will. I don't want property. I don't want none of that. I just want to sit under you and just glean.
So, if you had to meet somebody, she would be one of those people.
All jokes aside, being for real?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I would love to meet Judge Judy. I would love to sit down. All jokes aside, being so serious for a moment.
Really?
There's only a few people, like, really, quote-unquote, celebrity, like, that I would even want to meet. Because I don't really get... I got starstruck one time. And you were with me. And that's what I met... Okay. So far, of course. We're going to get to the main topic.
Are we really?
Yeah, we're going to get to the main topic. I promise
Is you sure?
But... no one really knows unless you were with me as a child. But I grew up a huge pro wrestling fan.
I knew you was about to say wrestling. I knew it.
I grew up a huge pro wrestling fan. So I grew up in the 80s. I'm a 80s baby. So I grew up during a time of the original NWA before it became WCW, the original WWF days before they lost the lawsuit and they had to change it to WWE. But I grew up in the days of Randy Macho Man Savage, of the original Hulk Hogan. You know what I'm saying? The Road Warriors. I grew up the real Four Horsemen. Orn Anderson, Ric Flair,
Why you
Telly
smiling
Blanchard,
like that though?
Ole Anderson, Ole Anderson.
Like that though.
You know what I'm saying?
Why you smiling like that? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead.
Magnum TA, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Rick Rude. These are the days I grew up in, where wrestling was territorial, and anyway, they lived in Charlotte. Anyway, so I had the honor of some years back. We were in was it Dillard's or Belk's or something? We were in a department store at our local mall, and I happened to look up, and I was face to face with the enforcer, Double A Arn Anderson, and I've seen celebrities before. I'm not the type of people that bothers people, and because regardless of what your status is, you're still human. You still have a right to your space. And he was with his son. I think it was doing prom time or whatever. And you still have a right to your space. I don't care what society tells you.
I think it was Dillard's.
It might have been.
I think it was Dillard's.
Yeah. But you still have a right to your space. I don't care what society tells you. Just because you're in the public eye does not make you public property.
Come on, so you really out here giving nuggets. Go ahead. We gonna get to it. Go ahead, my brother.
So I happened to look up, and before I knew
knowledge giver.
Before I knew it, my eyes got big, and I resorted back to being an 8-year-old kid. And I had to introduce myself, and I just had to shake his hand. So that was like the only time I've ever been like starstruck in my life. But like, if I ever had the chance to meet some people, like to sit down and have a conversation, I would love to sit down and have a conversation with Just Judy.
Really?
I really would. Because it's simply because I love the way her mind works. Because right or wrong, she's rooted in her beliefs, whether she's right or wrong. But she's rooted in her beliefs. She's fundamentally rooted in who she is and the foundation of who she is. So I would just love to sit down and have like a 20, 30-minute conversation with Judge Judy.
Wow.
I would.
I mean, I knew you loved her. I know you wanted to meet her till you just said that. But let's carry on.
She's my Oprah, because I know you feel the same way about Oprah.
I do.
Like, unless that's changed, like if there's anybody you could like sit down and have a conversation with, it would be Oprah, right?
It would be Oprah. Well, 3 now. It's 3 now. It was one up on Oprah. It was this person, Oprah, and now Michelle Obama.
Okay.
Let me see if you know who the first one was first.
I know I'm wrong, but I want to say Tyler Perry.
No.
So hold on.
Really, babe?
Hold on.
Are you serious?
No, because I know you were fascinated with what he did and what he was able to build.
Yeah, and I love him, but he's not the one.
Hold on. So Oprah, Michelle.
You bought me the book. I was like a stalker.
Oh, you talking about the former president, Mr. Bill
Clinton. Oh my God, I love Bill Clinton.
You talking about the Democratic presidential nominee out of Arkansas.
Yes. So Bill Clinton has always been, I have never, like you, never been starstruck, but something about Bill Clinton, I have always, remember you bought me his books.
Yeah, I did.
Like as a gift, I love Bill Clinton and just want to sit down and just, like you said, just walk in Harlem with him. We walk around in Harlem and just chill.
McDonald's, walk to Harlem.
Yeah, we love you, McDonald's. Yeah, walk around in Harlem and just talk to him. And of course, Oprah and Michelle Obama. But the crazy part out of all of that, Bill Clinton is on the top of my list. I know people like, what?
Nah, there's nothing crazy about that.
Bill Clinton.
Regardless of how you feel about his politics, regardless of how you feel about what he did or did not do.
Yeah.
That man lived he's still alive. I don't want to talk about like he's dead, but he's lived a very fascinating life. He
has. Read his book, people. Go get Bill Clinton's book. But anyway.
All right. So
we
digress.
We's gonna do this today, or we just gonna?
No. There's a purpose. There's a purpose.
Take the poor little family down memory lane.
So family, here's what we're doing. So if you've listened to us any point in time during these last few weeks, we've been doing unofficial kind of question and answer Q&As.
Yes.
And because we've been getting premarital questions,
which is hysterical.
Which is No, it's cool. It's cool.
It's cool. I'm talking about the questions are hysterical.
Yeah, the questions are hysterical. So we've been kind of getting, well, not kind of, but we've been getting premarital questions.
Yeah.
You know, individuals who are either engaged or looking at getting engaged, and they've been wanting to know about marriage. You know, kind of what to expect. We've got into expectation versus reality. Go back and listen. And so we're going to kind of continue down that vein. And so we've been asked, you know, what are some of the things that we learned throughout our journey? And so there's 5 things that we want to touch on. So we want to touch on the 5 F's.
Yeah, the things that these are like the things, these are the most things that they've been asking us about. And so we kind of put it all together, and it wasn't maybe, it was questions around this, but when we went through it, we realized that this was basically the 5 F's.
Yeah, because what happened was it wasn't these exact topics.
Right.
But it was the context of all the questions.
I like when you back me up and say what I'm trying to say. You better say what I'm trying to say, bro. Go ahead. What is in the context?
The context of the questions ended up being these particular subjects.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm just going to tell you what the 5 F's are, and then we're going to go through them, and then I'm gonna push it off to you, and then we'll go from there.
Go for it.
So the 5 F's, really simple. So there's feelings, friends, family, finances, and faith. So once again, the 5 F's that we're going to be discussing today is going to be feelings, friends, family, finances, and faith.
Now, some of the stuff that we're going to say is our opinion. Do we have to do that like public announcement? Well, this is our opinion. You know, like when they do drugs, they tell you to take these drugs, and then at the end they be like, and so it can make you blind, make you hurt yourself, make you sit down. And then by you don't know, you need glasses, and then you have a heart murmur. Is that what we're going to do?
Nah, you're going to take this rugged and raw.
So you may not agree.
I don't care. You're going to take this rugged and raw.
This is our thought process, our perspective.
Right now, we're going to be a 1972 pimp. You're going to take this rugged and raw.
And we may
put some baby powder in the back of our hand.
I was going to say, that was like with some baby powder. But anyway, so let's talk about feelings.
Not my favorite subject. So
let's talk about feelings. A lot of couples just asking, about how did we get along? What did we do?
How do we navigate feelings?
How we navigate our feelings. And I think we had to learn in the beginning that feelings is a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
It really is. It can keep you in conflict for a long time.
It can.
To be honest. Because we have a tendency of getting in our feelings, and then once we're in our feelings, we don't want to move forward, or we don't see a resolution if you don't get out of your feelings and come outside of yourself. It's not that your feelings could be wrong, but sometimes you have to always look at a different perspective of your spouse or who you're dating or who you're with, and listen to, feelings and listening kind of go hand in hand, I believe.
Feelings is like that teddy bear that you had as a child, where it's comfortable, it's dirty, it needs to be thrown away, but you're clinging on to it because it's your security.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to let it go because you've always had it.
Yeah.
The things about feelings is that we don't want to accept is that feelings are fleeting.
Yep.
Feelings come and go.
Yeah.
Feelings are how you feel at that moment, which not necessarily right or wrong,
right?
But it's temporary. And so we get stuck, and what happens is that we end up making long-term decisions off a temporary situation because we're stuck in our feelings.
Yeah, and not wanting to. We have a tendency. One of the things that we always talk about is for us is the fact that don't take everything personal.
Yeah,
because I know in the beginning of our marriage, I got my feelings hurt a lot. And the least little thing he would do, I was like, oh, he don't want to be bothered, or whatever I was feeling at the time. But half that stuff had nothing to do with me, but it felt like it was me because it was me and him in a relationship, and I felt like it was towards me. And one thing I hated him to always say is, babe, don't take this personal, but it felt personal. So I got my feelings hurt a lot. And then I had to sit down and listen to his perspective and then go, okay, let's take a moment to dissect this, because maybe this is not personal, because I want him to tell me his feelings. But then if he tells me his feelings, I get my feelings hurt. And then we can't talk, or we're arguing.
Yeah.
Or I've taken it personal, which then pushed him away. I'm just talking about what happened with us.
Yeah, talking about our story.
Yeah, which then pushed him away, making him not want to tell his true feelings, because he felt like every time he told his truth to me, I was in my feelings and I got my feelings hurt. And one thing he never wanted to do was hurt my feelings. So he felt that holding his feelings in was better then I could be wrong now.
No. What you're saying is so accurate. So we're gonna unpack this just for a moment. We're gonna sit on this one just for a moment.
Okay.
We got nothing but time. So here's the thing with about feelings, and we're gonna continually make the statement, don't take it personal. So we're gonna unpack that one just for a moment, because I know we have some people out there saying, but I'm in a whole relationship with this person. I am dedicating my life to this person. I am entrusting this person with my future. How can I not take that personal?
Yeah. Or how can my feelings not be hurt by what that person said?
Yeah, and here's how. Because a lot of the times when we're expressing how we feel about something, even if we're expressing how we feel about you, most of the times it has nothing to do actually with the person that we're discussing it with. It's a previous situation that happened.
Yeah.
It's a previous offense. It's a previous hurt. It's a concept that we have. It's a inner idea or inner thought that we have that we're expressing at this moment. And what happens is that because I'm expressing how I feel at this moment, and I'm going to say you just in general terms, now you take it as a personal attack,
right?
Because I say, well, I don't like this particular situation, and even though I said I don't like this situation, you hear it because you're in your feelings. You hear as well, I don't like you,
right?
And now it's a whole different case scenario. So dishes, something frivolous. So I say I don't like dishes in the sink. You hear, I'm not clean. I don't ever clean up. I don't ever do nothing because you're in your feelings.
Right.
And something as simple as me saying I don't like dishes in a sink, now you've taken it as an attack against you.
Right.
That you never clean, you never do nothing.
Right.
And now this whole big thing has blown up simply because I said I don't like dishes in the sink.
And the crazy part about it, with feelings too, and that box of feelings come, like you said, but people, when you talk about your feelings, especially if you're discussing each other, automatically you feel like you're being critiqued or getting criticized,
right.
And then you automatically go on the defensive because that used to be you. I would say something to you, and you would go on the defensive, and I'm like, what? And then once you went on the defensive, you didn't want to talk about it. You were like,
I
okay,
shut down at that point.
Yeah, and so that was one of the things that we had to go, this is not working. This in the beginning, it was like, this is not working. We revert back to that sometime because we're first of all, we're all human, guys. So it's not like, oh, we do it perfect and, oh, you never get in your feelings. Sometimes we do, but we have to remind ourselves, is this a critique? Is this criticism? And also, do I want stop being on the defensive and allow him to speak, or allow me to speak to him and not be on the defensive? Because what happens is, the majority of times, is that you're so much in your feelings when they start off the first sentence that you don't hear anything else. You've already sort of fortified an answer. You already sort of getting your answer together. You're already ready to rebuttal. You're already about to say what you need to say now, because now that you feel like your feelings is hurt, I'm going to hurt your feelings too. Yeah, and it could just be us. I'm just saying, but that's how we would do things.
And it went from actively listening to I just need you to get to the period so I can make my statement. And
right.
And the one thing for us is that what we had to learn is that throughout this whole process of feelings and not taking things personal, is just we had to build a trust there.
Yeah.
Because being honest, in the beginning, I don't think the trust wasn't there. And here's what I mean by that. For me not to be in my feelings by a statement that you make, I have to consider the source. I have to know that your best interest is mine.
Right.
I have to know that no matter what we go through, you're never going to intentionally hurt me. You're never going to intentionally turn against me.
Right.
You're never going to intentionally do anything to hurt me.
Right.
And if I don't know that, if I don't have that foundation set,
right,
then it's real easy for me to take offense to your feelings.
And also thinking that because it's your spouse that they can speak to you any kind of way. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that you have to teach someone how to treat you. Whether it's your spouse or not, I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you're about to get married. You have to teach people, but you have, as my husband always say, you got to use your words.
Yeah.
Which means that if someone, we were in a married, what are we going to call that? It's amazing. We're in a married, oh my gosh.
Seminar class?
I think we're in a marriage seminar.
Yeah.
We've been in it. This is our last week.
this upcoming week.
Yeah, we've been in it for 6 weeks, and we're people that in our marriage we want to learn. We want to learn. We want to glean. We love marriage and what marriage is. We love our marriage.
We don't have all the answers.
We don't have all the answers, but we just like to hear different perspectives, and we like to learn. So we're in basically a seminar, workshop, or whatever you want to say. That's for 6 weeks we've been in it. And one thing that they did say is if you don't have the capability to say the correct words or give the correct response, take a moment.
Walk away.
Tell that
Develop
person,
a safe word,
I need
safe phrase,
a moment.
Yeah.
I need some time to get with what you're saying before you automatically rebuttal, before you automatically go off, before you automatically get your feelings hurt. I have, in the beginning of our marriage, I was the drop a shoer. I was waiting for the shoe to drop. I had bad relationships before Sanchez, and I had bad relationships before Sanchez. I don't know how many times I could say that. And so I was always waiting, not perfect at this, but always waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, he gonna leave. Oh my God. So I never wanted to rock the boat per se, but I didn't really want to get into, what I thought was going to be an argument or what I thought was going to be confrontation. And anybody who knows me, I am confrontational.
Very aggressive.
And very aggressive. And I didn't want to bring that into my marriage because I knew that Sanchez had an aggressive spirit. And we tell people this all the time.
Yeah.
And I had an aggressive spirit. And so all that could happen was the whole house blow the heck up. Mm-hmm. So we knew that we were aggressive people. Moving. Yeah, so we had to have the capability to go. And I had to swallow a lot of stuff that I felt that he was critiquing me or criticizing me on, and I had to be quiet. I didn't have to. I chose to be quiet. But the moment that something, I don't know, we had a big one, and something happened, and I knew that I had to say something, and I didn't choose my words properly. I went all the way live because I held it in so long.
Yeah, you went left.
Yeah, I went left on that, and but then I said, no, we gotta learn this thing. We gotta learn how to talk to each other. We gotta learn how to rephrase the words that we say, because in actuality, when we don't, then we are harming each other.
Yeah, and I want to go back to something real quick. It's that the part about feelings when it comes to a relationship, whether you're married, whether you're engaged, whether you're thinking about marriage, is that for the feelings conversation to go well, and I'm gonna harp on this because it's very important, that the foundation of trust has to be there, which is something that's not going to happen overnight because trust is earned. Trust is not given.
Yeah.
Just because I say I love you doesn't necessarily mean I trust you. And just because you say you love me doesn't necessarily mean I trust that.
Yeah.
So that foundation has to be set. So when you're having that I feel conversation, your spouse, your better half, your significant other understands that it's not an attack against you.
Yeah.
So you have to do so understands that you have to choose your words very carefully at all times.
You do.
Whether you're having a good conversation, whether you're having a debate, whether you're having conflict, whatever the situation is, you have to choose your words very carefully at all times.
You do.
One of the things that I had to tell myself when it comes to feelings and the feelings conversation and how to deal with feelings,
especially in a marriage,
is that my ultimate goal is to always protect my wife. And even if that means protecting her from me,
right?
I have to always protect her. So that means that there are times that I can't just say what I want to say. I can't do what I want to do because it's not in her best interest.
Right.
And so I have to be very careful because, like my wife touched on, because we're both very aggressive people, and because we understand who we are and we know that there are some times where our mouths can be very deadly.
Ooh. There is a life and death in the
tongue.
Power of the tongue.
And we know how to use it.
And we know how to use it. And we know how to say something to push a button on our loved ones, our significant other, who we're having a relationship with. We know how to do that. But I think that's how we came up with the free fall for the family for us, because you could say what you wanted to say as long as you was respectful.
Yeah.
And everybody in that circle had to listen, even if they disagree, because that doesn't mean that I'm trying to change your mind. But what I am trying to do is give you my perspective.
And one thing, and I learned this very early on in life. I had the privilege of, back in high school, being a part of a peer mediation team. So And then we touched on it yesterday, and we touched on it over the weekend in our marital seminar as well. It's very simple. It's called I statements. One way that you can help when you're having those feeling conversations is that change what you say. Instead of saying you, you say I.
Yeah.
So instead of saying you make me feel or you did this, you
Right.
change that statement and say I. I feel. I see it this way. I feel this way.
Right.
And once you start changing that verbiage and saying I instead of you, it becomes less of an attack against that person and more you just expressing yourself in that moment.
And also just saying, I think I heard you say, because we have a tendency of thinking that we hear something that the other person did not say. So it's always, I think I heard you say, or something of that way, just so you can get to hear it right, because we think we hear one thing, but it's another. You know,
it's totally different. So once again, and we're not gonna continue to harp on particular feelings, but it's very important to understand that the only way that feelings conversation is going to work, and I know I've said this before, but to me, it's the most important thing. The only way for the feelings conversation to work properly, where you're both engaged, where you're both gleaming from the conversation, where you're both understanding and getting an understanding, and no one is being cut off, and no one is being shortchanged, and no one is feeling underappreciated. The best way to have that conversation is by allowing the trust, that foundation of trust, to be there.
Right.
Because, and really for all the fives that we're gonna go through, you have to have that foundation of trust.
Yeah, I believe that. So the other one is friends. And so
What do you mean, friends?
What I say by friends is you and your spouse are best friends, and we got that. Y'all are best friends, y'all love each other, but you still do have to have some individual friends. Like for us, you know, we have what we call e-groups. So where St. Cheson's in a men's group, and I'm in a women's group outside of him. I have a group of female friends that I adore and love that I can talk to. And a lot of times we're not even talking about marriage. We're talking about what's our dreams, what's our aspirations, what's the next move, what we're going to do next, where we're going to vacation, what we're going to do. And you need that. That doesn't mean that you don't love your spouse. They're not amazing, incredible, and we want them to be your best friend. But what we are saying is sometimes you need some other people to throw things off about or talk to other than marriage. Now, I'm not telling you to go tell your friends your business, and before you talk to your husband, you talk to your friends and you go to male bash him or husband bash him or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about a group of friends that's beyond the marriage, as you talk your aspirations and your goals, your hashtag goal friends. You know, that's what I'm talking about. The things that you want to do with your life, the things that you want to do with your marriage. You do ideas together. This is not a gossip group. This is not a group, girl, let me tell you what my husband did. This is a build each other up, love on each other, help build your marriage up in your relationship. Girlfriends are going to tell you, first of all, boo-boo kitty, you was wrong. You know, if you do want to share something, not someone like, girl, if I was you. We don't need that. But we do need friends because we need time away from each other to, as they just said, to miss each other.
Yeah, I got to be able to miss you because all jokes aside, you are truly my best friend. I say that. And I say that with confidence, and there is no other person above you. In my life, it truly goes God, wife, everything else. So you are absolutely my best friend in life. However, with that being said, I do have close male friends. Mm-hmm. And one thing you touched on, I'm glad we had this particular conversation, because one question I've gotten and one question I get a lot from a male perspective is, am I allowed to have female friends? Mm-hmm. And a lot of men ask that question, and it goes back to trust.
Yeah.
Okay. A, are you trustworthy? I mean, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Are you trustworthy? Mm-hmm. Do you have a track record of not being trustworthy?
Right.
Do you have a track record of you don't really have female friends? You have those. Let's just leave it.
What was that face for?
Let's just leave it at that.
Good thing we weren't recording.
Yeah, let's just
live.
You have a lot of friends with benefits.
Yeah.
So that's
FWB.
Yeah, that's not a blanket answer to that question.
Yeah.
That is a case by case. That is what is comfortable. First of all, what is comfortable for your significant other?
Right.
Are they comfortable with you having female friends?
Right.
And are they comfortable? Do they know your female friends? Mm-hmm. Because it's how we've worked is because I have female friends. Mm-hmm. However, I don't have any female friends who are not friends with my wife.
Right.
So the female friends that I have, because I still enjoy being around people. I still enjoy having those additional conversations. And there's just a different perspective that you get from having a conversation with a woman that you're not going to get from having a conversation with a male.
Absolutely.
There's different life lessons, there's different perspectives. So yes, I do have female friends. However, I do not have any female friends that A, my wife doesn't know.
Right.
That B, my wife is not friends with. That C, my wife does not have contact with. There is no female in my life that my wife has not spoke with, broke bread with, had a conversation with, spent time with. Because if they're a friend of mine, they have to be a friend of hers as well.
Absolutely. And I think, too, when it comes to friends, because I have guy friends as well.
Did that make sense?
It made absolute sense.
Okay.
It did. It made sense. But also, what I love about, and to be honest, the female friends, female and guy friends are our friends. It's not even like they're our friends. But what I do appreciate and love about all the female friends, they will call me first and be like, hey, I'm about to call Sanchez. Is that okay? I want to ask him a question. Is that okay? They never just be like, oh, they ask. Like, it's the craziest thing. 'Cause I'm like, you don't have to ask. And they be like, no.
And my male friends do the same.
They be like, no. I'm asking you, is it okay first? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm thinking,
because my wife is a wealth of information on a lot of different subjects. And she's very talented in a lot of different areas. So a lot of my male friends will reach out to her for assistance or help on something or information about something, but they go through me first.
Yeah. Or they text message us both at the same time.
And here's the thing. It's not that I'm not allowed to have female friends, or I'm not allowed, but it's just don't bring any contention in your home if you don't have to.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And then also
know yourself.
Yeah, know yourself. Know who you are. Know your spouse. And don't just bring any unnecessary tension in your home when it's not necessary.
Yeah. And again, guys, we're not telling y'all what to do. This works for us. But we just telling you that people have been asking us about this whole friend thing. And I'm saying individually, you need a group of female friends and a group of male friends that's going to uplift you and build you up.
I'm glad you said that, because it was a point I wanted to make, but I had lost it for a moment, and you saying that brought it back to me. Friends, there's a couple of different things that you need to understand. And right now I'm talking to males. This works for females too, but right now I'm talking to the male population.
Talk to the brothers, baby.
Be careful of who you surround yourself with.
Yes, females too. Come on now.
And here's what I mean by that. Because a lot of the times, especially men, we're very loyal when it comes to our guys.
Yeah.
Especially if we've been together for a long time, especially if we've grown up together, so on and so forth, we're very loyal to our group.
Yeah.
Even if that group is not what's best for us at this stage in life. Because we have to understand, when it comes to friends come in stages. They come in seasons.
Yeah.
You have friends for the season in life that you're in.
Right.
Now, there's some friends who are multi-talented and can rock with you through all seasons.
Not rock with you.
And there's some friends, you have some summer friends. You have some spring friends.
It's true.
You have some winter friends. You have some fall friends.
Yep.
And what happens is that...
Don't get that confused.
Yeah, because a lot of the times what we try to do, we try to take our summer friends into winter.
Yes, sir.
And they're not built for it.
They're ready for it.
They're not ready for it.
And that's okay, too.
It is. And what the conversation I'm having with my men right now is that for my men who are in a relationship, in a good relationship, in a marriage, those single friends, just be careful sometimes, because the perspective is different.
Right.
Because, and I want to say this without stepping on any toes, but I kind of want to step on toes. Don't listen to every voice that's in your ear. Because
that goes for ladies too.
Yeah, because just because they may mean well for you, and just because they may think they want what's best for you, if they're not in that same situation, they're not gonna truly always understand the stakes.
Yeah.
Of what's going on.
And I'll say this too, so we can get up off of friends, but friends know the difference between friends and associates. Yes. And that's something we taught our children all the time. It's like everybody not your friend, baby. That's associate. But you're like, because I knew her for 3 weeks. I met this girl, me and her best friends in a day or two. So be mindful. Know your definition of friendship. And I think like Sanchez said, know who you can give what to, because everybody can't handle
it. Everybody can't handle it.
But I believe the goal is for females, if you have a group of women that are your friends, you're not really talking about your marriage. You're talking about what uplifts you, what make you feel good. How can you work on yourself? You should have girlfriends that make you want to work on yourself. Girlfriends who want to make you work on your marriage. Girlfriends who want to make you work on your career. You need girlfriends that make you want to be better. # goal setters.
Yeah.
And I have, I won't count certain ladies because they're my family, but they are my best friends as well. But I got about... I can hardcore that's not outside of my family. Then I have some other women and friends that are amazing, but 4 hardcore ladies, and they know who they are. They don't take no junk. They ain't taking no junk from me. If they see me falling off, if they see me going awry, if they pull my card on it, they see that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to and not living up to the fullest potential of not what they feel I should be, but what I've told them and where I'm going, because we make ourselves responsible for each other.
Yeah.
They're going to pull my card. And that's the kind of friends I'm talking about that make you be better, not only in your marriage, but in your whole life. So like I said, it's not a gossiping session, but we can go on and on about that.
Hold on, one more thing on that. And then also be careful when you look at your friends. One of the key things you want in a friend, in a true friend, they have to have a short memory. Here's what I mean by that. When you're in a relationship, because we have a tendency of venting to our friends.
We do.
We have a tendency of saying, well, this is going wrong, or they did this, or she did that, or he did that.
Because you're trusting them with it.
Because you're trusting them with it. And then in 2 weeks, you and your spouse, or you and your better half, y'all are good. But then now the friend remembers what you've told them.
And bring it back up.
Yeah. Or now they're around your lady or your guy.
With attitude.
Now they have an attitude, or they're treating them different because of what you told them.
Be careful what you say.
Yeah, so it's twofold in that. It's make sure your core friends, make sure they have short memories, and then also just be careful in what you. I would always take a moment before you vent.
Go to the Lord first.
Take a moment. And see, okay, is this something? Am I just feeling this way am I going back to my feelings just for a moment? Does this really need to be shared in this way right now?
This is really what I feel.
Is this something that I want? Is this something that I want my closest friend to remember about my spouse? And just weigh your options.
I think too. Again, we're still here. But you also got to know your core friends.
True.
You know what I'm saying? If you got some core friends, and if the only thing y'all talking about is your husband and what he does, and you're not talking about anything else, you need to be a little bit more versatile in your friends, in your core friends. Because again, I really believe core friends are not just talking about marriage. Core friends are talking about what's good for you, what you're going to do with your life, your latter years, talking about finances, talking about vacations, talking about businesses, talking about entrepreneurship. Because you and your spouse or your person that significant other always talking about relationships. You need someone else that's going to also talk about those other things. Right. And those other things you talk about with your spouse as well. But every now and then, I really believe in a marriage and a relationship, you still don't get married and then don't have no friends. People, I'm not a firm believer of that. Just know the core friends that you choose. But we're going to get off that.
So we're going to move to
because some people going to agree to disagree, and it's okay.
And it's okay.
I feel good about it.
Out of the 5, we've only touched on 2.
Jesus.
So let's go ahead and move on to the third. So the third F is family.
Family.
Now, family is a very touchy subject.
Oh, my God.
Because family has caused divorce.
Ooh. Family and finances have been the divorce makers.
Family has caused fights.
Yes.
And family has caused people getting cussed out.
Yes.
So let's discuss family.
I think with family, I love family. My God. But I think sometimes we give family too much power.
Yeah.
In our relationships.
Please, first of all, say it again for people in the
back.
back.
We give family too much power. And I think that kind of something that Sanchez said as well earlier, you have to be careful what you give family, because now family's different than friends. They don't have short-term memory.
At all. They remember everything.
They like elephants. They remember everything. And so you got to be careful what you give. And I would say, please, like I tell you with the friends, go on to the Lord first before you tell your mama about your wife or your girlfriend. I think you need to go to the Lord first. Same thing, ladies. Go to the Lord first before you tell your daddy or your mama about your husband and your spouse. And I'm going to tell you why. Because what you've done is, and that's for friends too, they kind of go, friends and family kind of go hand in hand, to be honest.
Yeah, especially in this particular situation.
Yeah, because what you do is you open the door for opinion. So now you can't get angry that you've opened this door and your family members got an opinion. Yeah. You did that.
Now, if your father calls your husband a bum,
yeah,
you can't get mad because you gave him all the ammunition to call him a bum.
Yes, the day that you were mad, the day that you were angry, the day that you just was venting, didn't mean it, because words is almost a cause and effect.
No,
to be honest,
it's not almost. It is a cause and effect.
You have to be careful and the family and make a decision what you want your family to look like, because everybody. Okay, for instance, Sanchez and I we love family. Adore our family. They're amazing. They're incredible. But early on in our marriage, we realized that we can't get our family involved in everything. And then we had to put our family, me and him and the kids, first and foremost. We knew that. The goal was to raise our children, get them out the house. Look at the Lord. We have succeeded on that. Thank you, Lord. And also understanding that everybody don't need to know everything. Some things just got to go to the Lord. And I think you
all things got to go to
the Lord. All things got to go to the Lord. But you have to be careful with family. Now, family's not a bad thing. We love our family. I got a mother-in-law, cousins that married into this family. Love them. But I know their position and their space.
There's a reason that Genesis 2:24 says, That is why a man leaves his father and his mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And yes, family is wonderful.
Yes.
And family is amazing. And family got you to a certain point, and family is there for you. And we are not saying forsake your family.
You just saying what the Lord said.
However, the hierarchy, especially when you're married, the hierarchy has to be. And this, I will not back down on this. To me, this is not opinion. To me, this is fact. I will never back down on this particular statement. In marriage, the hierarchy has to be God, wife,
children,
everything else.
Yeah.
It has to be. And from a wife's aspect, it has to be God, husband. So it has to be God, marriage.
Yeah.
And then everything else. And everything else is children, family, finances, dreams, vacation.
Yeah.
But nothing can come in between that space between God and marriage.
Yeah, because you have to be careful of traditions. Traditions. And I think a lot of times that we come in with our traditional thoughts of what marriage is, or our traditions of what our family did, and then he come in with, well, that's not the traditions my family did, but now understand that when you come together to get married, and the Bible tells you that you have to cleave to one another and leave, that means leave all those traditional ideas and start traditions of your own for your family, even if your family does not understand, because right now we're talking about your family, not the family.
Yeah, because it's something as simple. Christmas. One of our fights early on in our marriage was something as simple as Christmas.
Yes.
Because my wife's family had a tradition of at midnight they open gifts.
Come on, somebody. Come on. That's mandatory.
Yeah.
You're mandatory.
Christmas Eve, midnight, and they start opening gifts.
Yes.
My family's tradition was you go to bed, and then you wake up early Christmas morning, and then you open gifts.
Isn't that cute? Just run there with your little pajamas on.
Yeah. And so something as simple as that, because we never had a conversation in the beginning
right.
about things like that, about family traditions.
Family traditions.
About, well, and to be honest, we never even really had a family about, okay, tell me about your family
traditions.
Yeah, we never
had a conversation.
We never had that conversation. And so something as simple as what are we doing on Christmas night or Christmas morning ended up being an argument over nothing when it didn't have to be.
Or we didn't talk about Thanksgiving traditions where do we go? Because my family, we all go to one designated spot. It used to be my grandmother before she passed away. And of course she was in New York, or when my mom lived here in Charlotte, it would always be mommy's house. And we never discussed it, not thinking that his family would be offended. Like every year, but when we first got married, y'all over there.
Right.
And then when we switched it up with his family, then my family was like, oh, so y'all not coming here? So we had to have a real discussion and talk with my mom and everybody and go, hey, we going to fix this. We just going to stay home. You know what I'm saying? Because it was too much work until we sat down and had a compromise and had real conversation like, okay, this Thanksgiving, let's just go rock out with mommy. If that's the case, then we'll go visit your family for dessert. We had to figure that out, but we really didn't talk about family traditions. We just felt the ones that we had were good and we were going to bring them into marriage and we were just going to do them, not knowing that they were not. We should have known that, but that they were not the same.
Because here's the thing. So here's how you counteract family. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to use that term, counteract. Because yes, I'm going to go back to it. Family is beautiful.
It is amazing.
Is wonderful.
We love you guys. We love you.
Love your family. But however, you have to understand that you have to do what's best for your family first.
Yes.
Once you say I do, once you under God and country and you say that this is the person that you're spending the rest of your life with, at that point, that becomes your nucleus.
Yeah.
That becomes your family.
Yeah.
And you have to base your traditions, you have to base your foundation
your
on
rituals,
your rituals,
all those things.
You have to base that best on what's best for your family, your immediate family.
Yeah.
And the best way and the only way to do that is that early on you have to sit down and
communicate
those conversations. You have to talk about birthdays.
Yes.
You have to talk about family reunions.
Yes.
You have to talk about Christmas. You have to talk about things like that. You have to have those conversations early on, so when the time comes, you know what you're doing.
Because what I did not know, because we didn't discuss it, was Sanchez is really not into Valentine's Day.
I can't stand Valentine's
Day. He don't celebrate it. I was like, what does who and what and why? I mean, just don't. He's like, I love you all the time, but we came in, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, all the kids get balloons.
She stayed mad at me
all
too.
the kids get candy. I celebrate it. I make heart cakes. I mean, I'm that person. Never considered that he wasn't until I didn't get a card. And I'm looking at him like, player. And then he said, well, baby, our anniversary is February 7th.
Yeah.
And Valentine's Day on the 14th. And I love you every day. So why are we celebrating? So we had to come to some middle ground on that he understood that was important to me. But we never ever I know it's something simple, guys, but we never discussed it.
It's not that I'm cold-hearted. It's not that I don't like love. I honestly don't consider Valentine's Day a real holiday. It's a man-made consumer day that was created by a card company in order to sell cards and candy. Mm-hmm. I love you. I love you every day. Right. I do something for you.
You do show it.
I do something for you every day.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I buy you stuff all the time.
Yes, you do. That's
true.
And
so for me, it couldn't. And caught in my own, going back to feelings, caught in my own feelings.
Caught in your feelings.
For me, I was like, why am I doing this on one random day that really doesn't mean anything?
Yeah.
Not realizing, hey, step back, peel back the layers. It's not about you, Sanchez. It's about her. It's important to her.
Right. And then I had to respect that he wasn't going to make a big deal out of it. Once we discussed it.
Once we had the
conversation and we discussed it, I realized he's not going to make a big deal out of it like I do, but that doesn't negate or stop me from making a big deal out of it.
Right.
I had to get out of my feelings and be like, oh, since he ain't doing that and watch what happened. No, what in the Heebie-jeebas? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Stay consistent. And that's another thing in marriage. Stay consistent into who you are. If there are things that you love, if Valentine's Day is what you love and your spouse is not really into it and you only get a card and some flowers, fine. If you've been doing a whole bunch of balloons and you've been doing Valentine's dinner, continue. Don't stop doing what you're doing because that your significant other doesn't have that kind of feelings. And then the significant other understand that is what they love to do. Let them do it. Yeah. And I think that's what I loved about him. He was like, okay, I'll get you some card, I'll get you some flowers, and I'll just let you do it. And the more now, he'd be like, okay, so we having Valentine's dinner? Like, like he knows now. But before it wasn't like that. And he's still not a big Valentine's. Let me make no mistake. He's still not.
I love her. I don't love Valentine's Day.
But we discussed it, and I think that's what you have. Don't think that all of your family traditions that was in the family is going to happen in your family.
Yeah, and here's another thing. For a successful marriage, you have to be an adult.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about age.
Yeah, come on now.
I'm talking about in your mental. I'm talking about in your emotional.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in your perspective on life.
You're going to have to grow.
You're going to have to grow up because you can be a 17-year-old adult.
Yeah.
If mentally you're prepared.
Yeah.
And so here's why I say that, is that to deal with family, the first thing you have to do is that you and the person you're marrying, you have to sit down and outline what you want for your family. And then once you sit down and outline what you want for your family, at that point, you need to bring all the families together and as a whole, as a unit, and you need to sit down and you need to do a presentation for them.
Yeah. The hardest thing I think for me and Sanchez right now in 2020 is minding our business when it comes to our grandbaby.
Yes.
Oh, Lord Jesus, Lord.
Well, hold on. To be honest, it's harder for you than it is for me.
Yeah, it is. Because I just want to go over there. I just want to hug him. I just want to see him. But I have to realize not that I'm asking permission. I feel like I am.
No, you do.
But
you
I do. I just
permission.
can't roll up because I just want to see my grandbaby. Like, hey, I'm here because I'm the grandmother. That's not how it works. I had to be mature and go, that is their family. And
that's their family.
That's their family.
That's their house.
That's their house.
We're not contributing.
We ain't contributing
nothing
to
that house.
To nothing.
To nothing.
And I have to respect if they go, not today. The first time I heard not today.
Oh, you were salty.
Oh, to my feelings.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, she cussed.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, she cussed my son out.
Oh, I ain't say it to him, but oh my God.
Oh, she cussed my son out.
But then I had to realize they're making the traditions and the rituals and the movement that is best for their family. And yes, he's our grandson. And yes, he's the first one. And yes, he's amazing. But that is their family, their son, their house, their rules and their regulations. And I have to respect that. And I have to let them tell me when it's okay. And them tell me and not me be like, well, I'm kind of, no, it don't work that way, sweetie. You don't run nothing over here in this house, because I wouldn't want Sanchez's mom to come tell me what I need to do or what I am going to do when this was my house and I'm the queen of this house. So all of my children, all of my sons have queens of their houses. Yeah. And we respect it. It is so difficult. I didn't think it would be difficult because with the queens of their houses, I didn't have a problem. I was like, ladies, I don't come visit all the time. Is there something that you need? They run the show. I said with my legs crossed, but when this grandbaby came, some had told me I had carte blanche. Like I thought I had the black card, so I could just
do what you wanted to do.
And it wasn't like that. So you have to stand like my son and his girlfriend and that baby, they stay in their ground. Yeah. They don't change nothing. They don't care how nobody feels. They gonna stick with their family rules, what they want from their baby, and tell who can come in and out their house.
And here's the thing. And once again, I touched on
fiancé. I should have said fiancé. His fiancé. Sorry.
Here's the thing. The underline through all this is trust.
Yeah.
Now, to get her family off you, or to get his family off you, the family has to understand that they can trust you to take care of their most precious. Because you got to understand. Because I don't want to sound hypocritical, but when the time comes for our little girl to get married and to start a family, I'm not gonna make it easy on this dude.
No,
I'm not.
Me neither. To be honest,
you have to prove to me that I can trust you to take care of my little girl.
Right.
Because if you can't prove to me that I can trust you to take care of my little girl, we're gonna have problems.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, ladies. If you can't prove to that mother that she can trust you to take care of her baby boy, is you're gonna have problems. The family, the marriages that don't have a lot of issues from in-laws, is when they've established up front that they mean good to the person they're marrying.
Right.
That they can uplift the person they're marrying.
Mm-hmm.
That they're enhancing the person they're marrying, and they're not taken away.
You know what? Ooh, Sanchez, I'm going to hit you. Because back in the day or before, not us, but just people always say, my mother-in-law's in our business because she don't have a life. Or my father-in-law's in our business because he doesn't have a life. Or he's over here cutting the grass and doing things that, the husband needs to do because he doesn't have a life and he's bored. But when you said that gave me come on, somebody, that gave me an aha moment. It's because, unfortunately, there's something in your parents that don't trust.
That don't trust you're going to do it.
That don't trust the other significant one.
Yeah.
That doesn't trust. I think for me, that was an aha moment. I don't mess with the guys because the queens that they have, they don't need me.
They're taken care of.
They don't need me. These queens got it. Now, if the boys call me and be like, "Hey, mom, blah 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 blah," which they do because we like that. We just mother and sons that's just crazy together. But anyway, in actuality, any decision making, I don't make it.
No.
Anything, and also if the girls, if I get involved in something, I've already spoken to the girls for their buy-in about what I think it should be, because what I don't want to do is be in the middle of that and make the girls feel like they always got to run to their mama, which was very difficult because me and my sons are very close. So I had to be the bigger person to go back off.
Yeah.
Back your behind all the way off and go sit your tail down. Now, with Morgan, it's a little bit more easy. With our daughter, it's a little bit more easy because right now she is married, but she's married to getting her master's degree.
Yeah, she's married to school.
So she's married to school. So Sanchez hasn't really had to consume himself with that right now. Oh, but it's coming.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understand, but like I said, to go back to it, it's trust.
Yeah.
Because one of the hardest thing for a parent to do, whether it's a female child or whether it's a male child, one of the hardest thing for a parent to do is to release their child to someone else's care.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
that's basically what you're doing.
That's what you're doing.
Ooh, come on, Sanchez.
You are releasing your child to someone else's care.
Right.
And as a parent, I have to know that I'm releasing my child to someone who is truly going to take care of my child, whether it's my males, because for the longest time, my youngest son, I didn't rock with any of his girlfriends.
You didn't want to see nobody.
I didn't want to talk to him. Because I didn't trust that they had his best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Until this one came along. Until the wonderful young lady he's with now came along.
We love her.
And she showed me.
Yeah.
And she showed me that she was capable of loving my son the way he needed to be loved.
Right.
That she was capable of taking care of my son the way he needed to be taken care of, and that she was capable of just being secure in who she was, regardless of him.
Outside of him, she had something else outside of him.
Outside of that relationship, outside of him, she was secure, she was comfortable, and she was okay with her. Yeah. And at that moment, I knew my son was okay. I backed off. I was able to back off.
And knowing that she could handle the good and the bad, because we've seen the good and the bad between them. Actually, we've seen the good and the bad between all of them, and the queens that they're with, and they were able to maneuver and do that all on their own. And I think I love you as parents. I love family. But sometimes you got to mind your business, because everything may not go the way you think it could go, or the way, again, going back to traditions and families and ritual, it may not look like your family. It may not look like, we know for sure that all of them don't look like anything. They all have different relationships in what they do. And so we got to know when to not. And then we won't say me. Sanchez like, mind your business, baby. Sit down. And this is in the beginning. And I had to realize, sit my behind down and mind my business. If they ask us, then absolutely. And the one thing that we always say to them now, well, we've been saying it for a long time, are you venting or do you want a response? Because I think that's what got us through adulthood with them and being adolescents and on. We always ask them, are you venting? Or you want us to say something? Because, again, when you open the door to listen to the words, my perspective and my opinion. And just because I'm your mother or Sanchez is the dad does not mean that it's written in stone and it's always right.
and then the last thing we're gonna say on family, then we're gonna move to the next F. Be careful. Don't get mad if your family is involved in the good. If you're always bringing them into the bad,
right?
So don't be the person who, well, my family's always involved, or her family's always involved. If you're the type of person that when things are going wrong, you're always pulling
your family in,
But when things are okay, you want them to mind their business.
Right? We just told you, family is elephants.
Yeah,
they remember
everything.
They don't do short term memory. They don't. But you're right. We're going to get on to the get on.
Right, so let's go.
I don't even know we should have did these. We could be here all day. All day.
I like it. So
this one right here.
All right, so we're moving to the fourth F.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so to recap, so we've talked about feelings, we've talked about friends, we've talked about family. Now let's talk about one of the leading causes
of divorce.
And this is statistic. This is not me
this
joking.
Not just us, yes.
This is not just me hyperbole for the podcast.
Yes, come on, hyperbole.
This is statistic.
Yes.
One of the leading causes of divorces, especially in the first couple of years of marriage.
Yes, my God.
Is the big F.
The big F.
Finances. So let's talk about finance.
My God.
So let's talk about how in the beginning of our marriage, we did not have a conversation about finance.
We did not have a conversation about finances.
We did not discuss how you felt about money.
Y'all.
We did not discuss how I felt about money.
No.
We didn't discuss how you viewed money. We didn't discuss how I viewed money.
Yes.
We didn't discuss if I was a saver or a spender.
Come on.
We didn't discuss if you were a saver or a spender.
I just loved you.
We didn't discuss, do you like paying bills? We didn't discuss, do you pay bills?
Have you been? I mean, he was living in the house doing his own thing, but we just, I don't know.
We didn't discuss if you the type of person that pay your bills as soon as you get the bill in, or pay your bill once they threaten to turn stuff off.
Yes, we did not. We just was living on love.
Yeah, we didn't.
We knew we made money. We worked together. We knew how much money we made.
We didn't discuss what's your credit score. Do you got a credit score?
Yo, just thinking about, I said, yo, I'm so hood sometimes. Yo, I did it again. But anyway, just thinking about that as you're rattling it off, I'm like, that was supposed to be real conversation.
That was
we just loved each other. We just loved each other.
Yeah.
Listen to me, people. Discuss finances. What the?
Sound like you said 5 fishes.
What did I say?
The 5 fishes and loaves?
Yes. Multiply, Jesus, multiply. But discuss finances, because you don't want to be married 7, 8, 9, 10. What? Okay, I'm going home, y'all. I am home. But y'all know what I'm saying. And just be discussing the finances, because finances is the leading cause of divorce. And if you're dating, you need to communicate that. If you're about to get married, you need to communicate. Don't walk on eggshells with this particular conversation. I need you to stomp in the room. Seriously.
Here's something I wish someone would have told me before we got married. As you're sitting down and making the wedding plans, since you're going over the cake, you're going over the flowers, and you're going over the venue.
And how many people in your family come in and mine.
Here's also what you need to do. You need to print out your last 3 bank statements.
Come on, somebody.
From all your accounts.
You listen to me.
I listen to you. You need to print out your credit report.
Come on, somebody.
From all 3 credit reporting agencies.
Come on, somebody. The who? Credit reporting agencies. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And you and your fiance need to block out about 3 or 4 hours and sit down and go line by line of your bank accounts, of your credit reports. Because here's the thing, and I understand, I've turned off some people because I know there's still some people who believe, because their grandmama taught them,
Jesus,
don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing.
Right.
I get that. But however, that's not a successful marriage.
It's not successful.
And I'm just being honest. That is not, secrets in a marriage is never an effective successful marriage.
Especially when it comes to finances and you saying y'all gonna live this life forever and ever, but I don't know what bank account you got. I don't know how much the bills are. I don't know anything about you financially.
Nothing.
You got your account, I got mine. And I understand that some people have accounts because they want to secretly purchase stuff and all. We ain't talking about that. We because those accounts still can be known about. You see what I'm saying? We're not talking about that. But we're talking about straight up just not giving your significant other the information that they need for the family.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Because I need to know up front if you're a saver or a spender.
Yes.
You need to know.
Ooh, that was hurtful when we really did that lesson.
If you need to know if I'm a saver or a spender.
Yeah.
We need to know. I need to know. Okay. Do you have good credit?
Yeah.
Do you not? I need to know your thought process on credit.
Yeah.
I need to know how you feel about. I need to know these things because one day we may want to purchase something together.
Yeah. And what
I don't
want to.
Yeah, I don't want to be surprised when we sit down and talk to a loan officer or talk to a car salesman or whatever we're trying to do, and they say, "Well, Mr. Crenshaw, you're good, but let's talk about Miss Crenshaw.
Her credit score 323."
Yeah,
he'd be like, "What?"
That's not.
And also, here's the thing when it comes to finances too. Know your own. You should know your credit score.
Know thyself.
Know thyself. And we are huge Dave Ramsey, so we try to play everything with cash. Y'all don't even understand. We got the little cash envelopes. We got the little savings. We got it all. But what I am saying is still know your credit score, just in case you can't pay in cash.
And once again, we are not sponsored by Dave Ramsey.
We are not, but it's the most incredible thing we've ever done.
I would tell any couple,
yes,
especially a couple that's about to get married,
go through financial peace.
Go
first.
through the financial peace seminar.
Yes, please, Lord.
And I don't care if you've been married 2 days or 200 years. If you're not financially where you want to be, because there's some couples that's doing it beautifully and they're where they need to be, but they're rocking it out, and I commend you and
bravo
and 300% to you. I love you 3,000. But if you're a person that's still trying to figure this financial thing out, I would recommend to any couple to go through the financial peace seminar.
Yes.
And get the financial principles down early
in the game.
Because and we've touched on this before, and I don't think a lot of men understand this.
Yeah.
Is that the biggest issue that a wife will have with you
while this divorce thing happens? Go ahead.
If she feels unsecure.
Yeah.
And it has she feels unsecure, and it's not. And don't get unsecure mixed up with insecure.
Right.
Because it's two different things.
Two different things.
Because insecure is self. It's I'm not confident in who I am.
Right.
Feeling unsecure is that my foundation is rocky.
It's rocky. Yeah.
And men,
that concrete is breaking up.
Yeah. Men, we can't control her insecurity.
Cannot.
Oh, but we can control her feeling unsecure.
Yeah.
We control that every day. We control that by what we say to her. We control that by how we treat her. We control that by how we handle finances.
Yeah.
We handle. And the reason that marriages break up is because we're not having those conversations up front. We're not having those financial conversations. She doesn't know what's going on with the finances. It'll be amazing. You'd be amazed at how many women that my wife has spoken with, or how many couples that we've spoken with.
Ooh, that hurts when I hear it.
Unfortunately, something happened to the husband where the husband passed away and the wife had no clue. She didn't know about the bill. She didn't know about the account.
She didn't know about the debt.
Access. She didn't know about the debt. She didn't know about the life insurance policies.
Nothing.
She didn't know anything. I'm sorry, go ahead.
She just didn't know anything. Well, didn't know anything, and that was so hurtful. So when they come talk to me, I'm looking like, what? Not judging, but like, okay, now that we're here, what do we do? But I don't want you to get there. And the crazy part about it is you have to understand that Sanchez and I have been working very hard at this. This was in the beginning of our marriage, was one of the most difficult things. Thank God we made the divorce was not an option.
Yeah, we did that
because Sanchez is the spender.
Oh yeah,
and I am the saver.
I believe if I got $1, I should spend it.
Right. He believe he work every day. He should get what he want. Sanchez is not a what's what I'm looking for? Looking at the pricer.
Yeah.
He walk up. He know he got money. He is purchasing it.
I've weighed those. I weighed those options before I walked in the store. I knew how much I walked in my pocket with. And if I couldn't afford it, I wouldn't have walked in the store. So what's I'm looking at the price for? I'm going to just get what I want.
But that ain't what we discussed. So we had to discuss what was the numbers, what could we do. It took a while. That's how we wound up with our 15-minute
financial meeting
once a month.
I hate financial meetings.
Now, let me explain something to you. The reason why it's only 15 minutes, because after 15 minutes, Sanchez is gone. He left the building. His attention span is gone because it's not something that he wants to do. He wants to give me all of his money. He wants to just tell him that it's been paid and he wants to walk away.
That's that trust factor.
Yeah, but that's not how that works, because if something happens to me, he doesn't know what's going on. If I wanted to embezzle from the Crenshaw Corner, because that's Crenshaw Corporation is what we started. It started with Crenshaw Corporation. I could, because he don't know nothing. And so I had to incorporate, like, no, you gonna know. Even if he didn't want to know, no. We had to go over receipts. The thing that he hated the most was when we got that 3 months of auditing, and it was like bills, what we needed, what we wanted, and miscellaneous. And that's how we found out that we were spending almost $200 to $300 a month eating just random out.
Stuff, yeah, and eating out.
Eating out. And so once he saw the numbers, once Sanchez saw them, he was like, wait a minute. Because sometimes you can talk all day, but you have to give your significant other, show them the numbers, and it becomes a reality check. That's why he's saying do 3 months of auditing. Do those things. I think the most craziest thing for me was, he probably doesn't even remember. It was a long time ago in the beginning of our marriage when I finally was like, I was a saver and we got to get on this road, and Dave Ramsey and blah, blah, blah. And I asked him to write a letter to Money. Do you remember that?
Yeah, actually, I do remember that.
And he was telling Money that he ain't never had it. You know, so and I was like, my God. So we never had that conversation about how he felt about money.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait a minute.
Because once again, going back to the third F family, because our upbringing was so different.
Yeah, true.
Because my upbringing was, I was never taught money. Because we didn't have any money. So what am I teaching you something we ain't got for? So you worrying about something we ain't got. So I was never, I was lucky enough to, when I was growing up, and it's changed now, for some reason they don't teach finances in school anymore, but I learned how to write a check and about checking accounts and how to balance a checkbook.
Right.
I learned that in grammar school.
Right.
It wasn't my family sitting down and teaching me about checks and balances, about balancing your checkbook, about if you got $3 in your account, you can't spend $4.
Come on.
They didn't
just gave the bank $25. Remember when everything was $25?
Yeah.
Is it $35 now?
I think it's 30, 32.
I don't know. Thank God we don't know.
Thank God
we don't know. We've known before.
Yeah.
Or we've known before.
But I was never taught that. So going into our marriage, when I first started making a little bit of money, I went crazy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a lot. Once I started making a little bit of money and I could start kind of doing what I wanted to do, I did. And I lived, and you're right, I lived that philosophy. I work, I want it, I should be able to get it.
Yeah, and we had a lot of arguments about that.
We did.
I don't like to call it arguments. I like to call it strong verbiage and strong confrontation.
Strong confrontational? Strong debating?
Strong debating.
Yeah, okay,
I like strong debating.
And it was an argument. It was an argument. But rightfully so, you should, because I made the statement before, I was living off short term, not thinking about the long term repercussions of it. Because I was in my feelings. Yeah. Because I felt like I deserved it. I felt like I needed it. I felt like I didn't have it, so now I need it.
Right.
And not realizing, okay, y'all might want to go on vacation.
Right.
A car may break down.
Kids need to go to college.
You know what I'm saying? Kids may need something.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for us when it came to finances is, I don't even know where this came from. I still think it came from Dave Ramsey. I don't know. Again, we're not sponsored by Dave Ramsey, but I believe it was when he started talking about, or I don't know, because I listen to his podcast as well. Are we gearing up and preparing ourselves for the older us? So I'm thinking I got it from him. I always say it, so I don't know where I got it from. It could just be me.
You always say it.
But when we begin to think about, because we were getting older and going, do we have enough money for older Sanchez and Angela? Like, are we being fair to 60 and 70-year-old Angela, or 60 and 70-year-old Angela going to have to continue to keep working because 30 and 40-year-old Angela didn't know how to be responsible financially and really free up Angela, 60 and 70-year-old Angela, where she don't have to work. She can do what she want, how she want, and not be stressed or wait or wishing that my Social Security check come. No disrespect to anybody else, or waiting for that kind of check. And I think that's where the game plan changed for us tremendously.
Also, something else came to mind real quick. When you're sitting down and you're having, because what's crazy is that these people that's out here wanting to get married, and they will spend 4 months planning a wedding, but they won't sit down for 30 minutes.
Come on now,
and have an honest conversation about stuff.
Come on.
There's certain topics you have to have
because money ain't gonna
before
change.
you get married.
Right.
Finances is one of them, and also, side note, have the conversation about kids.
Yeah.
Do you want kids?
Yeah. We've had a lot of that going on.
Do you want to be a parent?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself being a parent? Do you not care?
Yeah.
Have that conversation. Do not wait until you're married and then one person is thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to be a parent." And the other person is thinking, "I can't wait to buy this car," because they don't want kids.
Right.
Have that conversation up front and be prepared to have your feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Because you may have to make a hard choice.
Yeah.
Because you may have to ask yourself, can I live with this person knowing that they may never want kids?
Yeah.
And I can't go into it saying, "Oh, well, one day they may change their mind."
And I think that's where we make the mistake. Expectation versus reality, like we always talk about. The expectation is once we get married, that person's going to change their mind. The expectation is once we get married, they're going to be savers. I don't care how much he spent back in the day and always taking me to all these expensive, because see, they're flags, people. They're flags. They're flags. Well, at the time of the dating game, it's cute. It's attractive till you get married and that money become our money. And that money becomes, oh my God, because even with children, have that conversation, because children are expensive.
They are. And
you need to know when you want to do it, what year. I mean, you can't plan kids, but at least have that conversation, because financially, I don't believe that you're ever financially ready.
You're never financially prepared for a child.
Trust and believe.
Never.
But you financially smart that when it does happen, that you know what to do and you have something available.
And here's why it's also so important to have that particular conversation up front. Because it can lead to resentment.
Yeah.
That if 3-4 years into the marriage, now you want kids, and even though this person told you they didn't, now you're looking at them saying, "Well, it's time to have a child."
Right.
And they say, "Well, babe, I told you from the beginning, I don't want a kid." But also because if both of you do this, if both of you are, we do want to raise a family, we do want to have children, that is in our future.
Right.
You need to start budgeting for that now.
Yeah.
You need to, even before the wedding, you need to sit down and start budgeting that into it now.
Exactly.
So if you want to have kids 3 years into your marriage, 4 years, whatever it is, then you already starting that process of saving for them, of that nest egg for them. So when the time does come, you're not scrambling around trying to figure out how you buying Pampers, how you buying a crib,
right?
How do we need a bigger place,
right? And also too, someone gonna have to stay home.
Yeah.
Not the entire time, but what if you decide that? You need to decide that too. If we have a child, do we want the baby in daycare because that's costly, or do we want for one of us to stay home, which is still costly?
Very costly.
You have to really talk about that when it comes to finances. You have to really go, okay, so how are we going to do that? And I remember sitting with Sanchez, and I was so frustrated and so aggravated, and I was like, I am tired of working for this company, and I was making very, very good money, and to what we think very, very good money is. And I remember him saying to me, "If you can prove to me," and I was looking at him like, "Excuse me?" He said, "If you can prove to me that we can live off just my income, just this one income, I don't have a problem with you leaving the job." Well, baby, he shouldn't have told me that, because I went to work. And for 2 years, we lived off one income. I was a coupon queen. And this when we had kids in the house.
Yeah.
I was a coupon queen. That's how I wound up doing Goodwill, besides the fact that we both lost our jobs. Goodwill started basically when we both lost our jobs, but we stayed with Goodwill for certain items in the house. That's how we became recipes and all this other stuff, because I had to prove to him that if I really want to stop working and just take a mental break, because sometimes that just may happen, that we could do it.
And that's
seriously.
And that's another thing. Those are, when it comes to finances, you have to have those conversations up front as well. Have the conversation. Ask your fiance, do you want to work?
Right.
Do do you see yourself, in 3 years, do you see yourself still wanting to work? Do you see yourself wanting to, branch out and do something different?
Do a new thing?
Do you see yourself wanting to do a new thing?
Being a business owner?
These are the conversations that you have to have up front that a lot of the times we don't have because we're scared of the answer.
Yeah, and digging. I'm sorry, baby. And digging deeper. I think the first thing you like you said, what Sanchez is telling you is dig deeper questions, not the how do you spend your money? Do you pay your bills on time? We talking about credit reports and 3 months of stuff and digging deep and do we want children? Because we talking about long-term life.
Yeah.
We're not talking about right now life.
Because I know for some of my wonderful ladies out there who are in the process of planning their wedding, you may throw something at your speaker right now when I say this, but during this process, the most important thing is not the wedding dress. Mm-hmm. That's not the most important conversation you need to have. Mm-hmm. The most important conversation is, babe, what's your credit score? Mm-hmm. Babe, how do you feel about bills?
Yeah.
Do you pay bills?
Yeah.
And are you in debt? Are you in debt? And if so, what is your debt? How much debt are you in? Do you have a student loan? Mm-hmm. If you have a student loan, how much is your student loan? Is it in deferment? Do you pay your student loan?
Right.
We file taxes. Are we filing separate? Or are we filing jointly? Because if we file jointly, if you owe somebody, now I owe somebody.
So you need to know that. And not even that. I think once you do this, guys, I think you should do that before you do the wedding, because once you do that, then you can know how much you can afford for a wedding. Because maybe the justice of the peace and a cute little white dress
is best for you.
Is best for you. And you take that money that you were going to spend, both of you, and clean up your credit report, pay off your debt, do all of those things instead of getting into more debt. Now, there's some people that we know for sure that got this thing down pat. They paid straight up for their wedding. They paid straight cash for their vacation.
Straight cash.
They are like Ashi and heroes. You know what I'm saying? They are. And we love them, but because they showed us, and we have older couples. We have friends who are literally millionaires, and that we've talked to about this thing, and it was like it wasn't that easy in the beginning of our marriage, but we had to learn this thing, and we had to be together, and we had to be honest about our finances.
And also, here's why it's important to have these particular conversations up front. And we're not trying to break up any relationship.
Never.
But after you have these earnest conversations, after you have these real conversations,
not the surface,
these conversations where you're afraid of the answer, but you still need to know it, you guys actually may decide it's not best right now for us to do this.
To get married right now.
It may be a situation where this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's real easy to get caught up in the concept of love.
Mm-hmm. And the concept of being married.
And people do it all the time. People get caught up in the concept of love.
Yeah.
They get caught up in the concept of marriage. But then
what they think marriage
their
is. Fantasy.
The expectation of marriage.
Versus the reality,
But then once that reality of marriage hits.
Come on, somebody.
Once that one of us are unemployed and now everything is on the other person.
Right.
Once that family member gets sick and now you got to deal with it. Once that family member, no matter what you do, just don't like your spouse. Mm-hmm. And they doing everything they can to aggravate the situation.
Right. Or once one of your parents gets sick and you may be the only child.
And you may be the only child. Or you want to have kids and you find out the person that you with can't physically have
children. Are you ready?
Are you ready for that? Then that's why these are the conversations you have to have up front, and don't just assume, because now you assume, well, she's young, she's healthy, we're going to have kids. And then after the marriage, you find out, due to a situation beyond my control, I can't have kids. Yeah,
so are we going to adopt? Are we going to be foster parents? What are we going to do? Are we going to, do IVF? All these things, this is real conversation. And I know you're like, don't wait till you get into marriage. I think it's so much fun it's like buried treasure, right? You keep digging and digging until you find the treasure. And when this is over, you may find you thought you was in love with this person until y'all dug, and now you're in love with this person, that you see the treasure in that person. You see that person's heart, good and bad. And so
and now you love this person even more.
Even more.
And just also understand, and this is Well, this is for all, but this is mainly for the ones who are going into a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Once understanding, once again, feelings, friends, family, finances. You can't change those things.
Nope.
You can't change those things within a person.
No.
So you can't go into a situation saying, well, they feel this way now, but they'll change how they feel once they get married. You can't do that because there's no guarantee that they're going to change.
Or telling them all this time you haven't liked his homeboy or his best friend, and now you're mad talking about he ain't coming to my house. No, that's not how that works.
That's not how
that's not how that work. Or I've never liked your mother. Well, could you have not said that from the beginning and get out your feelings and express why? Or just saying, I'm the breadwinner, so we're going to spend the money the way I want to spend the money. Or, I just don't like just one person knowing about the finances. I think it is a together thing. Yeah. Finances is a together thing.
Because it breeds insecurity. It also breeds contentment.
Yes.
And then also it's dangerous because if anything ever happens, tomorrow's never promised for any of us. Mm-hmm. So if anything ever happens to that primary breadwinner who is the only person that does the finances, then the surviving party is lost. And now they're not only having to deal with the loss of their spouse and that hurt, but now they're also having to deal with, I don't know what to do because I don't know anything.
Right. And I think too, since we're in this, I just want to drop this too. Get a will and get life insurance.
Please.
We were going to do this a while ago, so I'm not going to harp on it, but I'm just going to touch on it really quick. Get life insurance and get a will. Make sure that when you do get married, that your finances are in order for each other to protect your family and to protect each other, so no one can come in and tell your family what to do, or your stuff that you work hard for becomes ward of the state.
I don't care if you only have $1 in your savings account. You need a will.
Yes.
You need a will. Because for your future earnings.
Yes.
Because if you're working, you have Social Security.
Yeah.
You have things like this, death benefits, life insurance,
a health proxy.
These are the things you need because if you pass away without this stuff, then you're leaving your surviving spouse very vulnerable.
And to consider what you may want, or consider what you want, or not having any life insurance, and having to have your family go, okay, how do we bury him? Or how do we bury her? And asking family and friends for money and assistance.
And we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an easy time. But what made the situation easier?
Yeah.
When our father passed away.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That because and right now I'm talking to my people right now. So I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But I'm talking to my culture right now. We have a tendency of not wanting to do life insurance policies. We have a tendency of not wanting to do insurance. And then when somebody in our family pass away, now we doing fish fries, trying to figure out how we gonna bury grandma.
Yeah, and that's not everybody, but come on, somebody, y'all do understand the concept here.
And we going around and we mad at auntie.
Go fund me.
We mad at auntie because she don't want to give nothing, and we going through all this trying to figure out how we gonna get grandmama buried.
Right.
Well, when our father passed away, the only thing we had to do was make a couple of phone calls.
That was it. Seriously, That was it.
Because the type of man my father was is that he always wanted to make sure that mommy was taken care of in life and in death. Yeah. So my father had like 3 or 4 different life insurance policies.
Even him working for transit all his life, and
so he had all
crazy.
These different policies. So the only thing when he passed away, the only thing we had to do was make a couple of phone calls to get everything in place, and everything was taken care of. And his funeral, his repast, everything was so smooth because that's one less thing that we had to worry about. That's one less thing that our mother had to worry about.
Yeah.
And she could grieve our father properly and not have to worry about, okay, well, how's he going to get buried? Well, how are we going to pay for this? How are we going to do that? Because it's not something that was worried about. So what we're saying is make it easier.
Yeah.
And start this process. Get these things done.
Yeah.
If you don't already, get a life insurance policy. Yeah. And then also, if you have one, make sure it's enough.
Yeah. Think about that. Yeah.
Because what you don't want to do, you don't want it to be just enough that it only takes care of the funeral expenses.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, your surviving spouse still has to live.
And still have bills that you guys may not even, hadn't taken care of because you didn't think that your significant other was going to pass away. So there may be bills that are still out there and things like that. So just think about it. Just we're not going to harp on it, but it's so important. Like I said, Chad said, we had life insurance, but we had to be better at it because we realized, like, after Pop passed away, like, whoa, that was the smoothest. I don't even know if we could even say that because it's our father.
And it sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy, but it was like
it was one less thing we had to
one less thing we had to do. And what it was we had so many options. My mother had so many options. All she did was have to make decisions. Not how it was going to get paid, what we was going to do.
Yeah.
What day we flying him to New York? What how are we doing it? Where is he going? It was like 5 decisions and it was over.
And
it was it. So we just think about that, guys.
All right, family. So
final one.
We're going into the home stretch. So once again, just
a
quick reminder. So we're dealing with the 5 F's. So first one was feelings. Second one was friends. Third one was family. Fourth one was finances.
And this last
one. And then the last one
is the most amazing one. This will get you through anything if you take care of the 4. This is the anchor. Faith. And when we're talking about faith, we're talking about faith in 2 different perspectives. Yeah.
We're talking about, first of all, being rooted in something bigger than yourself.
My God, come on, Jesus.
For us, that's God.
That's Jesus
Christ. For us, that's Jesus Christ. That is He is our anchor. So our faith is rooted in Christianity. Our faith is rooted in Jesus Christ as our Savior.
Yes,
we believe
He is.
that.
We believe it.
We do our best to walk in that. We're not perfect with it. We have our faults. We have our faults. We have our flaws.
Right.
But that is our anchor.
Right.
So it's that portion. And then the second portion is that you have to have faith in your spouse.
And in your marriage. Yes.
You have to have that same rooted, anchored faith that we can get through. Okay.
Anything.
So here's the thing. If you've ever wondered why people use the terminology anchor.
Yeah.
Because it's really simple. So if you know anything about shipping, if you know anything about boating, so every boat, especially the larger ones, will have an anchor. And that anchor, very heavy, very solid. And what they do, they drop the anchor, it cuts through the ocean or whatever body of water they're in, and then it, pardon me, and then it hits the ground of the ocean deep
rooted,
and it stays there and it doesn't move. So no matter what storm comes, no matter what waves come, that ship is stationary in that one place in that body of water.
Now, it may get beat up. It may get wet.
It's going to get wet.
It's going to get wet. It's going to get beat up, a bruise just a little bit, maybe.
But it doesn't move. And when it comes to marriage, you have to have that anchor in your marriage. So when the arguments come,
right,
when the disagreements come,
when sickness comes,
losing
jobs come,
when family members turn against you, when your kids are not acting the way you think they should act,
when success comes, job promotions.
We don't talk about that.
Right. Because everybody be like, "Oh, it's just everything is just so sad." No, when new jobs come, when entrepreneurship comes, when your spouse writes his first book or her first book, things to celebrate. Be anchored in that.
You have to be anchored in that. You have to be anchored in that marriage because and I'm gonna go back to the negative aspects just for a moment. When the feelings get hurt.
Yeah.
When the friends act crazy, when the family hurts your feelings, when the finances are not what you want them to be.
You lost some finances.
You have that faith to hold on to.
And hold on to each other.
Yeah, because one of the things, and once again, just for my wife and I, because we didn't have many conversations early on, to be honest.
We didn't.
But the one conversation we did have was divorce is not an option. We took divorce off the table.
So we had to learn this stuff.
So
Trial and error.
By taking divorce off the table, it gave us a better way to be rooted in our marriage because we know we had no choice. We got to figure this thing out.
We got to figure it out.
We got it because there's no turning back.
Nope.
There's no you go there, I go here.
And we didn't want to be agitated, aggravated, frustrated, don't have no fun rolling. Because since divorce not an option, I want to have a good time because I'm stuck with this joker. I am stuck with this joker.
For the rest of her natural born life.
Not natural. She's like my mother. Not the natural born life.
The rest of her natural born life.
You know, and so how do we enjoy it? How do we do it? And again, it was our faith in the Lord. It was, we had so many scriptures. Yeah. We had the How to Pray for Your Wife book. How to pray for your husband book. I mean, the power of prayer. I mean, like we really, because this journey, what we're telling you is this crazy journey that we're still on and we're still growing because we don't know everything. And we have to go back to these 5 F's all the time and be like, okay, where are we in this? Is this healthy? Is this whole? Is this right? You know, is this good? Is this true? Is this beautiful? Is it trustworthy? We had to go back to all these scriptures to remind ourselves that this is bigger than us.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it don't have anything to do with us.
Most of the times it has nothing
you
to
know,
do with us.
And that we're trying to do things for the kingdom of God. And, you know, one thing that I've always said, as far as my faith was concerned, is that I'm kind of like what Matt said, but totally different. But that my responsibility is unto God, not unto man. So my responsibility, no matter how Sanchez act or how crazy he is, my response, how I feel, what I do, is unto God. So there were days in our marriage I was petty patty, like, oh my God. But then I had to grow up, you know, and every time I went in the closet and tried to tell God about what Sanchez is doing and be petty, the Lord would say, no, let me talk about you. And I'm like, that is not what I'm trying to talk about, Jesus. You're not paying attention. I said what Sanchez did, and he would bring it back to me. So I had to be responsible for what I do and be consistent, not letting my feelings fluctuate how I'm going to treat him, how I'm going to speak to him, how I'm going to love on him for that day only because of how I felt, because I have a responsibility to God and I made a commitment through God, you know? So yeah.
Because also with faith is unseen.
Yeah.
You know, faith is, you can't put your hand on faith. You can't grab faith. Faith is something that you just have to feel. Faith is something you just have to know. Faith is that walk out into the unknown.
Yeah.
And that's what marriage is. Marriage is walking into the unknown.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can sit down and talk about a lot of things, but there's no way you can plan out what your next 10, 15, 20, 30 years are going to look like because you have no idea. And so that's why you have to be rooted in something bigger than yourself, because you're not going to always have the answers. You're not always going to know how to handle the situation. You're not always going to handle a situation properly. And through faith comes grace.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we forget a lot of the times in a marriage is that throughout marriage, you have to show grace.
Yeah.
Because you're going to want grace shown to you.
Yeah.
Because you're going to wake up in a bad mood. You're going to forget to do something. You're going to forget an important date. You're going to handle a situation in an improper way. And you're going to want your spouse to forgive you and not hold that trespass against you.
Yes.
And the only way that's going to happen is that there has to be grace in the situation.
Yep. Come on now.
And it's just, if we're to say, and there was a particular reason we did them in the order that we did it.
Yeah.
And it's because that faith aspect of it, it has to be the most important one. Because with that faith once again comes trust. Because I have to trust that my wife has my best interest at heart. I have to trust that my wife wants this marriage just as much as I do.
Yeah, fight.
I have to trust that I am not in this. I joke a lot and, I pick at my wife a lot, but there is no one in this earth, past, present, or future. There is, out of all the people that God has ever created through the beginning of time, there is no one that I would want to take this journey with other than her.
Me too. I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
I love you, Steve.
And that's because I have trust and faith in her, knowing that we are truly in this together.
Yeah.
That no matter what comes our way, no matter what we deal with, no matter what adversity we have to face, I know that she got my back.
Yeah. And here's the thing, because I love you. I'm gonna give the scripture on that.
Go ahead,
I
give
love
the
you.
scripture.
I'm not even gonna use my favorite, the Message Bible, today.
You using NIV?
I'm going to use NIV and the New King James. That's
beautiful.
all about you.
Beautiful.
So Hebrews 11:1 talks about faith. And it says, now faith is the confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So that's that. And then I went to New King James Version. And it said, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And then the King James, not the New King James, but the King James Bible says, now faith is a substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So they're saying the same thing, but the bottom line is not seen. You're not going to see everything right now. You're not going to see the fruit of your labor right now. We didn't see the fruit of the labor of our children until they got older, grown, and got out.
Until they got out.
And started living their best life. And then we were like, we did good. We did good human beings with no expectation, dealing with the reality. They're flawed because we're flawed. We're crazy because they're crazy because we're crazy. They're flawed because we're flawed. They're learning because we're learning. Even to this day, we are still learning. We are still growing. We're still trying to put it all together for our marriage. And that's what we want you guys. Have faith. Have so much faith that you want to put more into your marriage. You want to learn more about each other. You want to learn more about your significant other or your fiance or the person that you're going to marry, the person you have a relationship. You want to know more. I think the biggest thing, because I know you're about to ask me, babe, what's your greatest takeaway? I felt it in my spirit.
Okay, let's go with that.
You was gonna say it?
I wasn't, but let's go.
Okay,
with
go
that.
ahead. What was you gonna say? Because you gave me that.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Don't give me that.
Finish your thought. Man.
What I would say, my final thought would be dig deeper. Don't just have surface conversations. Have real conversations. Have your you 30 talking about what's going to happen when we 40 and 50 conversations. And I know it may be some time away, but also stay in the present, but also the unseen things. Just think about those things and prepare. And love on each other enough to communicate. I think that's a huge thing is you have to communicate.
Yeah.
But you gave me the what was that?
I didn't give you the I really didn't. But since we're here, since we're in the final thought phase, let me recap once again. So the 5 F's: feelings, friends, family, finances,
and faith. My God.
So my final thought is a simple one. Sit down and have the conversation. Have a conversation about all 5. Have honest conversations about your feelings.
Yeah.
Have honest conversations about your friends. Have honest conversations about your family. Definitely have honest conversations about your finances. Yeah. Where are you truly at this point in time with your finances?
Can I interject for 1 second?
You've been interjecting all day,
I
so you've been cutting me off the whole
have
podcast.
I really?
You really have. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but since you're gonna continue doing it, but yeah, go ahead, because I can't get a full thought out without you just stepping on it. But go ahead,
go ahead, get your full thought out.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Oh, don't get your full thought out. Get it out. No, because when you were saying that, one of the big things that we decided to do as well is trying to learn how to live off one income.
Right.
And before you get forced to live off one income, learn how to live off one income. Or maybe learn how to live off one income and half of the other income and put the other half of the income away for savings. But I just thought about that because that was something that was huge for us was how do we learn to live off one income and live below our means? I cut you off.
It's okay. You've been doing it all podcast.
You sure?
I'm
going to let you listen back.
Nah, trust me. I know.
Go ahead.
I haven't been able to get a full thought out without
get your thought. Okay, I'm going to be quiet.
Stepping on my throat.
You sexy. Go ahead. I'm going to just stare at you.
Whatever, man.
When I do, you tell me I'm stalkerish, but I'm going to just stare at you now. Go ahead.
And then faith. So have a conversation. First of all, have a conversation. Stop doing that. Have a conversation with yourself.
Say that. Just looking at
Stop
you.
being creepy. You're being creepy right now. Stop being creepy.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Okay, I'm going to look out the window.
So have a full conversation with yourself. Find out where you are in your own faith. And then have that conversation with your fiance, with the person that you're looking at spending the rest of your life with. Have that conversation about your faith journey, your faith walk, their faith walk, and then what your walk looks like together. Because the one of the worst things to do is to get into a marriage and then realize that your belief systems are totally different. It can work, but it's bringing undue stress and it's bringing more obstacles into the marriage that you have to work out in the midst of it, in the fire of it, instead of being able to sit down and plan for it. Because it's one thing going into a fight or going into a battle with a game plan and having to adjust on the fly. But it's another thing going into a situation totally unprepared. And what we're trying to do is that we're trying to help you get totally prepared, because once again, you can't fully plan for a marriage because you genuinely don't know what's going to happen.
Things change
from day to day. You don't know, because, and one thing we should have touched on as well is that you have to realize that we as people, we evolve. We change every day.
Grow.
So what I cannot do, and I think I've said this in a previous podcast, but I can't treat May of 2020 Angela like I did May of 2019 Angela. Two totally different people.
Cuter.
Two totally. I was shaky, I promise. Two totally different entities, because she's evolved, she's learned, she's grown. So I can't treat her the same as I would last week. So in your marriage, understand that your spouse, that the person you're devoting your life to, they're constantly changing, they're constantly evolving. You have to constantly learn them over and over again. And that's the fun part. Relearning them, understanding who they are, that's the fun part. So it's just have the conversations up front and just, that's my final thought. Have the real tough conversations up front.
You want me to say something?
Nah, I really don't. You said enough.
Because you gave me a look.
Nah, we good.
Nah, I don't got something to say.
Nah, you don't.
No, I do.
What you got to say?
You know what, too? Sometimes just realize that sometimes your marriage will be under construction.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Look how deep that was.
That was.
You see how I got quiet?
Anyway.
You know, normally I unpack it.
Don't unpack that.
But I ain't going to unpack it because we've been up here almost 2 hours.
Actually, it's a little over 2 hours.
Ooh, Crenshaw Corner. We out of control today on a sun sheet.
So, family. As always, family, we are Interactive Podcast.
We are.
I'm going to back up for a moment. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Thank you for hanging with us.
Yeah, thank you for being a part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
We are Interactive Podcast. We can be found on the socials.
Social.
We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, all under Crenshaw Corner.
Yes.
We have an email address of thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
We do.
And then we also can be found on our website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Yes.
Once again, our website is www.thecrenshawcorner.com. And family, welcome to our journey.
We love you guys. Bye.